Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
Folks, it's all happening. It's all coming out. You know, I say it a lot because I'm excited about doing the show and being here with you every day. But today's one of those shows that means a lot to me personally. It'll all make sense in a few minutes. I promise you. There is a project, a research project I've been working on for a long time. This USAID story, this deep state slush fund where your taxpayer dollars are being used to F you over, censor you, engage in anti-American activities around the world, is part of a massive story. And a connection was made last night by investigative reporter Michael Schellenberger, which ties into this project I've been working on forever. This stuff is going to blow your mind how Ukraine, the deep state, USAID, the impeachment hoax, the collusion hoax, they are all related. I just need you to do one thing for me. Follow the money. Don't go in. Call your friends right now because your minds are about to be totally blown about what I'm going to tell you. I have been saying this for years, all of it. The spying scandal, the collusion hoax, the impeachment hoax, the intel officials, Ukraine. It's all tied to the same people. Get ready. There's a lot coming at you, so get your pens out. Blackout Coffee. Drink a cup. Visit blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Today's show also brought to you by Lumen. I've been using Lumen because I love life hacks. Folks, anything can make my life better, my metabolism function better, I'm going to take advantage of. You know, when your metabolism is working right, you can feel the benefits in every aspect of your life. I found a great tool, helps give me insights into how to create an effective, better metabolism for my body. It's called Lumen, Lumen. Lumen's one of the world's first handheld metabolic coaches. It's a device that's easy to use, can help measure your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs, provides tailored guidance to help you improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and stress management. It's done wonders for me, tailoring my life. All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning. It's that simple. It'll analyze your metabolism, indicating whether you're burning fat or carbs. It's important. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. Take the next step and improve your wellness. Go to lumen.me/Bongino. to get 20% off your Lumen. That's LUMEN.me, not .com, lumen.me/Bongino, lumen.me/Bongino for 20% off your purchase. Great product. Statements of products have not been evaluated by the FDA. They're not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, prevent any disease or condition. All right, fellas, let's blow some minds right here. Guys, ladies, as I say often, I wrote a book. I profit off a book. I'm a capitalist. I'm also going to tell you again, because I can't say, I don't give a shit if you buy it, get it from the library. I promise you, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but this is important. This is a project I've been working on for a long time, okay? This was my book, Follow the Money. I wrote this book years ago, but the book has been blowing up the charts again, was a bestseller again, because everything I wrote in here is now coming out with this USAID scandal with these dark pools of money. I'm going to get to it in a second. I actually dog-eared a page, stuff I had underlined a long time ago, and I'm going to show you how we were way, way, way ahead of this thing, this story a long time ago. I want to hat tip someone first here who did basically uncovered something explosive. This is new information, okay? The USAID books getting opened up. When Elon Musk and Doge cracked open the books for the government, they found, for those of you who missed it, we've been covering it over the last few days, but just a quick recap. They basically were like bookkeepers that came in there for the first time and started looking at how the United States government's effing you over, taking your money and giving it to people with no accountability. So the Doge people and Musk crew, they go in there and they find out that this group called USAID, the Agency for International Development, is basically a deep state slush fund giving money basically to lefties and commies and everybody who hates you. The story's really that simple. The details are complicated. The story is not. That is what is going on. That's why there's a collective freak out going on with the Democrats storming USAID headquarters, screaming, you can't look at where we're spending this money. We've been screwing you over with your own tax dollars forever. Now their line is, it's only a $40 billion budget. $40 billion. Do you understand Kamala's entire presidential campaign was just over $1 billion? You could fund 40 left-wing communist presidential campaigns for the amount of money being stolen from you, given to left-wing insane groups. How does this relate to this project? Let me play this first, and I want you to pay very close attention to this. Let me establish the bluff, the bottom line up front. Folks, I've been telling you for, now close to 8 years, maybe more, since I wrote the initial book, Spygate. The collusion hoax that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians to steal an election. Obviously, fabricated hoax, you know that. The impeachment hoax afterwards, that Donald Trump made a call to Ukraine and said, give us dirt on Joe Biden or we're not going to give you all this other stuff. The Spygate hoax, the spying operation on Donald Trump, that actually happened. And the Hunter Biden laptop intel thing and Ukraine are all the same people. They're protecting a massive piggy bank USAID has a lot to do with, and Ukraine has a ton to do with it too. Listen to the USAID connection to the impeachment hoax that the great Michael Schellenberger uncovered. He talked about it last night on Jesse Waters' show. This is going to tie in to this whole fiasco. But listen to this first. Check this out.
You have this new piece on Substack that the USAID and the CIA helped orchestrate Trump's impeachment.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse, it's a crazy story. I mean, you might forget that, the House of Representatives impeached President Trump in December of 2019. Many people may not remember that it was a CIA analyst who was left over from the Obama White House who wrote the memo that led to the impeachment. It was all based on hearsay. The person had not actually been in the room with Trump. Nonetheless, this memo that he wrote relied heavily on a report done by an organization funded by USAID. In fact, its initial founding funding, I mean, now it's tens of millions of dollars, had gone into this group called the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a name that's not very memorable, OCCRP, but it was basically created as an extension of the State Department and then of USAID. And as you know, Jesse, this is very serious to be involved in an effort to do regime change at home, as we've been discovering as the files have come out with what Elon Musk has been doing. We know that USAID was really about regime change abroad. It was a kind of public-facing part, regime change operation like CIA, but not covert, more overt. Well, now you see a similar blowback, just like they did censorship abroad and brought censorship tools back home. They were doing this sort of thing abroad, creating a predicate essentially for Trump's impeachment.
What the hell just happened last night? All the credit in the world to Michael Schellenberger. This new angle to an old story is such a massive piece of the puzzle that, the puzzle didn't make sense until this big, huge piece was plugged in. So now we know that USAID was basically funding regime change in the United States to get rid of Donald Trump, taking an international pool of money where they were basically a carve-out for intel operations around the world to engage in regime change and anti-American activity overseas, that this USAID outfit money went to a media outlet, that's the one he's talking about, that produces this fake report about Donald Trump and his call to Ukraine. The fake report is then cited by the whistleblower who files a report with the Inspector General for the intelligence community, and that leads to the entire Donald Trump impeachment fiasco. The problem is the whole story's fake. The whole story's fake. The whistleblower didn't even hear the call. Now, where does the book come in? Again, the book is called Follow the Money. This project has been on my mind for, I had an episode taken off of Apple, censored because I talked about this story. If you go to page 135 of the book, I know it's hard to see there, but there's a chapter called The Mole. The Mole chapter is all about this entire thing in intricate detail what happened. So the whistleblower that he's talking about, so follow me here. This is not complicated, but the show's a little deep today. A whistleblower calls the Inspector General of the United States for the intel community, says Donald Trump did a quid pro quo on a call with Ukraine. The whistleblower is not on the call. The information cited in the report the whistleblower makes, that the information is taken from a USAID funded media propaganda piece, meaning USAID and our tax dollars are funding propaganda to engage in regime change. Here's where the book comes in. This is page 136 in the chapter The Mole. Talking about the whistleblower, this guy, Chiamarella. He first arrived at the White House during the Obama administration. Interesting. So he's an Obama holdover. Worked as Ukraine director on the National Security Council. Wow. Shit. I would have never guessed. The whistleblower had some interest in Ukraine, which was a piggy bank for people like Joe Biden and everyone else. Can't hurt that piggy bank. Donald Trump's asking questions about Ukraine. We better file a report. Where are we going to get the information for the report? I don't know. Maybe USAID could fund a media outlet to give us some fake shit. Oh, man. He was a Ukraine director on the National Security Council, a position later filled by our good friend Twinkies, Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman. Remember Vindman? You can call me Lieutenant Colonel. Remember him? The whistleblower, Chiamarella, a multilingual Ivy League graduate, had also worked with, no way, Dan, how did you write this in the book? Had worked with former Vice President Joe Biden and former CIA Director John Brennan. Paul Sperry has done amazing work, footnoted and credited in this book at length, by the way. One more for you. This only gets better. And by better, I mean worse. You can read the whole chapter if you like. I might read the whole thing. More than the whistleblower here who got his information, apparently, according to Schellenberger's reporting, and by the way, there are lawsuits threatened about this. This operation is saying this is not what happened. Let's hear from you. Send us an email. I'll read your statement on the air. Schellenberger and them are standing by their reporting. They're saying there's a connection here. We'll see what happens. It's also noted, I read in a book, that Chiamarella, the alleged whistleblower here, worked with Alexandra Chalupa. She was the Ukrainian-American consultant for the Democrat National Committee who was one of the leading mudslingers of Russiagate dirt and the rumors. Chalupa was obsessed with Manafort. She met Chiamarella, the whistleblower, at the White House as far back as 2015. Folks, is this thing all making sense now? You're not reading this, man. You're making a huge mistake. I have been working on this forever. That's just one piece of one chapter called The Mole. You read the first chapter, Insane in Ukraine, lays out how Soros, who I've got a guy coming on, Matt Palumbo, he's my editor at Bongino Report on my radio show later, who wrote the entire book on Soros and USAID and all this other stuff. He's coming on later. If Schellenberger's reporting turns out to be accurate, I have no reason to believe it won't, that a media outlet may have been funded by USAID money to provide information that was later used in an IG report by a whistleblower, and the information turned out to be hyperbolic at best and used to impeach Donald Trump in order to protect Biden and everyone else's piggy bank in Ukraine. Folks, now do you see why Donald Trump is calling this the scandal of the century, the funding of media outlets by USAID money? Go read his True Social. Do you think this guy's an idiot? He beat you guys 3 times in a row, okay? Donald Trump knows full well that the deep state slush fund of USAID funding media outlets to provide information later used for potential regime change at home is probably the biggest political scandal of our time. Please get the book. There's libraries. Your friends may have it. There are a lot of copies out there. I don't care how you get it. I promise you my incentives are pure here. You need to read it. You will never understand what's going on in full until you read it. We put a shit ton of work into this thing. It's a project I've been working on forever. This Ukraine piggy bank is at the heart of everything. There were pro-Russia, pro-European factions in Ukraine that were all making a fortune off lobbying people in the United States. By the way, Democrats and Republicans were involved. That's why some Republicans are really quiet about all of this. And USAID and others may have been involved in the funding of some of this stuff that was being used to protect this grift. It is a huge freaking scandal. Please check it out. I'm begging you. Again, Matt Palumbo at Bongino. He's my editor at Bongino Reports, the conservative alternative to Drudge Report. If you haven't checked it out, it's BonginoReport.com. Got my Bongino Report mug. Matt is a George Soros expert. He's written books about George Soros. He will be on my show, I believe, later today to talk about exactly this. There is an entire racket going on with international, quote, development money that's being used to line the pockets of people here like the Biden regime. Thank you, Michael Schellenberger. This is a huge piece of a puzzle. This is like me searching for the MacGuffin my entire life with this thing, and Schellenberger put the final piece together. All right, I got a lot more show. You know what? I'm going to take a little bit of an early break right here because I want to get to this. We were vindicated again yesterday. For everyone who freaked out, Donald Trump sending the 82nd Airborne or whatever to take over Gaza. What did we tell everyone yesterday? What did we say? Bongino Army, you all were chill. Why? Because we know the rules. Our rule is what? Hold. Everyone chilled in the Bongino Army. And of course, if you applied the Bongino rule and you waited 24 hours, you now see, as they illuminate the details of the policy, that we were right. Again, while everyone else was freaking out. Hey, while we may have won the election, the fight to restore this great nation is only beginning. Now's the time to take a stand, and Patriot Mobile is leading the charge. As America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, Patriot Mobile offers a way to vote with your wallet without compromising on quality or convenience. Patriot Mobile isn't just about providing exceptional cell phone service. It's a call to action to defend our rights and our freedoms. With Patriot Mobile, you'll get outstanding nationwide coverage because they operate on all three major networks. If you have cell phone service today, you can get cell phone service with Patriot Mobile with a coverage guarantee. But the difference is every dollar you spend with Patriot Mobile supports a company that believes in the First and Second Amendments, the sanctity of life, and our veteran and first responder heroes. So switching's easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team will help you find the perfect plan. Right now, go to patriotmobile.com/Dan. Great company. Or call 972-PATRIOT and get a free month of service with promo code Dan. Switch to Patriot Mobile today and defend freedom with every call and text you make. Visit patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Thank you, Patriot Mobile. Great company. Been with us a long time. Check them out. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, vindicated again. If you're not watching this show, and you know, this annoyed some people. I don't want to get into stupid stuff like someone, reached out, oh my gosh, you keep saying you're the number one MAGA show. Well, we are. I mean, I'm sorry if that bothers you. I'm not knocking other people. I'm just saying by audience, we are. If you're not watching the show, you're just missing out. We have been far ahead of the curve because we have a lot of people here who feed us information, and we're pretty well connected into the Trump orbit. And therefore, we speak Trump, I think, better than anyone. I told everyone yesterday after the Gaza announcement, the United States is not invading Gaza. Everybody needs to chill. Thankfully, the Bongino Army understood this is not how Trump works. He doesn't say something and automatically mean exactly what he says in the beginning. He uses a maximalist position as a leverage point. He may mean it, he may not. It's the guesswork and the crazy man theory that makes the maximalist position effective. If you don't understand that about Trump, you've got a long 4 years ahead of you. There's another thing he doesn't do. He doesn't rule out anything either, because by ruling out anything, he takes away a negotiating point. You've got to read The Art of the Deal and you'll understand how this guy thinks. He doesn't rule out anything. It's stupid to rule out anything. Here's what I mean. So Donald Trump basically drops a huge bombshell, and I think for the first time in a while that's accurate, and says the other day, which we covered at length, that he's talking about or thinking about taking over Gaza. this area in the Middle East, right on Israel's border and the Egypt border. And everybody freaked out, thinking, oh, American invasion, genocide, all this other stupidity, which was nonsense. I was actually happy to see the Wall Street Journal, which really doesn't like Trump, take a pretty even-keeled position on this. Say, hey, what did Trump say was wrong? Palestinians have been screwed over by Hamas. The place is rubble. Nobody can live there. We want to fix it. The Journal usually hits him hard. We're like, I think it's a pretty fair thing he said. Here's Caroline Leavitt, excellent spokesperson for the White House, finally clearing this thing up and telling you exactly what we told you. Everybody chill. Take a look.
Can you explain this reversal and how building and owning Gaza squares with America First foreign policy?
I would reject the premise of your question that this forces the United States to be entangled in conflicts abroad. The president has not committed to putting boots on the ground in Gaza. He has also said that the United States is not going to pay for the rebuilding of Gaza. His administration is going to work with our partners in the region to reconstruct this region. And let me just take a step back here, because this is an out-of-the-box idea. That's who President Trump is. That's why the American people elected him. And his goal is lasting peace in the Middle East for all people in the region. And as I said in my opening remarks, we've had the same people pushing the same solutions to this problem for decades. And it's been made very clear to the president that the United States needs to be involved in this rebuilding effort to ensure stability in the region for all people. But that does not mean boots on the ground in Gaza. It does not mean American taxpayers will be funding this effort. It means Donald Trump, who is the best deal maker on the planet, is going to strike a deal with our partners in the region.
So for everyone who melted down, not you and the Bongino army, after Liberation Day, as you see, I got the shirt on today. You can pick one up if you'd like, up to you. But after Liberation Day, people started freaking out even more. Even people on our own side, which was disappointing. Oh my gosh, he's going to put boots on the ground in Gaza, invade taxpayer dollars, nation building. He didn't say any of that. I don't know what you're talking about. If you just would have waited a day, she was just clear. He's not talking about U.S. taxpayer dollars. What did we say yesterday? Folks in the chat, come on. What did we say yesterday? You know. He is pushing regional partners over there who have the Middle East, people who have a direct regional interest. Like New York has an interest in New Jersey. Wyoming does too, but not as much as New York. It's right there. He's saying to the Saudis, UAE, Bahrain, Lebanon, Syria, everyone, get your shit together or daddy's home and he's going to fix it. If you just would have waited a day, instead of freaking out, 100,000 soldiers are going to die in Gaza. What are you talking about? You would not look like a moron today. Everybody chill. Even the Wall Street Journal had a pretty unbiased perspective on this, which shocked me. They were like, what did Donald Trump say that was crazy? The status quo is not working. He's like, the United States could probably play some role here with regional partners in fixing this mess. Either you fix it or I'm going to fix it. What the hell did he say that was wrong? Here's our national security advisor, Michael Waltz, saying the exact same thing again. I told you yesterday, if you watched yesterday's show, and thank you for all the feedback on it, I want you to know it means the world to me, you were way ahead of this story while everyone else was freaking out. We said this yesterday, exactly what Michael Waltz says here. He's really doing this to push these regional partners. He's not saying I'm not going to do stuff, so this is not him joking. It's him pushing. There's a difference. Watch the NSA, National Security Advisor, say the exact thing we said yesterday. Check this out.
I think what the president is just acknowledging is we've been looking at this over the last weeks and months, and frankly, he's been thinking about it since October 7th, and that war is, everybody's heart breaks for the Palestinian people across the region, and rightly so, but he's not seeing any realistic solutions on how those miles and miles and miles of debris are going to be cleared, how those, essentially unexploded bombs are going to be removed, how these people are physically going to live for at least a decade, if not longer, it's going to take to do this. So the fact that nobody has a realistic solution, and he puts some very bold, fresh, new ideas out on the table, I don't think should be criticized in any way. I think it's going to bring the entire region to come with their own solutions.
Why do you guys think I cut that where I did? Because it's exactly what we said yesterday. This is how he negotiates. Did you hear Michael Waltz at the end? Did you hear the last line? He's pushing regional partners. Hey, man, do you guys have any solutions to this? Nah, we don't have shit. You don't have anything, do you? What's your fix? I'm just curious, if you're out there and you're AOC, Ayanna Pressley, Rashida Tlaib, who melted down, this is genocide. Whatever nonsense she was spouting about on X. What the is your solution? Hamas decided to engage in a massive terror strike on a company that kicked their freaking asses. That's a fact. I'm not asking you how you feel. I'm telling you what is. How you feel about what is your own freaking problem if you're on the other side. You got your ass kicked. Yes, you killed a lot of Israelis. And they turned around and killed a shit ton of you terrorist assholes too. And they wiped out everything because you fucked with the wrong people. You don't start a war you can't finish. And you couldn't. That does not mean I am a savage. I fully understand that many innocent Palestinians were caught up in this, who had nothing to do with this, who were not terrorists. War is ugly, period. Anyone telling you otherwise is a moron not worth your time. But you don't start a fight you can't finish. Now Donald Trump comes in here with a sensible solution to a problem. The Palestinians living in Gaza have nowhere to go, folks. There's no sewage, there's no water, there's no electricity, there's no flat ground because there's freaking rubble everywhere. What is Rashida Tlaib's solution? More terror attacks? She doesn't have one. All she wants is the status quo because you know what? Let me tell you what's really happening here, and I'm going to move on. I'm sorry, but I'm really passionate because I hate these foreign policy assholes who never propose a freaking solution to a problem ever. And they tell you, I'm a Rhodes Scholar in international relations. You're a freaking idiot. You have not proposed a single solution to a problem in forever. Here's what's really going on. Nobody wants to take in the Palestinians because countries that have done it in the past, in Lebanon and Jordan, have been destabilized by significant portions of Palestinian populations that engaged in kind of insurrections against those governments. Look it up yourself. Don't take my word for it. They don't want the Palestinians. If they wanted the Palestinians, they'd take them in, but they don't. So in order to keep their populations that they subjugate, because no one's freely elected in the Middle East outside of Israel, they need a common enemy. Tell me I'm wrong, fellas. Who's the common enemy? The evil Jews in Israel. And what do? They're like, look at what those evil Jews are doing to the Palestinians. Hey, why don't you take them in? Oh, no, you don't want to take them in. But the evil Jews are doing it. Everybody in the Middle East stays in power because they get the evil Jews narrative and they use the Palestinians as a pawn. That's what's going on. That's why Rashida Tlaib and all these other dipshits don't want to fix the Palestinian problem. Because if they do, the evil Jews narrative goes out the window. That's what's going on. You want the hard truth? Chew on them freaking apples. That's exactly what's going on right now. That's why they're freaking out about Donald Trump finally saying, Daddy's home, I'll fix it. They don't have a victim class of Palestinians. The evil Jews narrative goes away. That's what's happening. Ask your friends that. I don't care what side you're on. You love the Palestinians so much? Why doesn't the Arab world help them out? You realize Egypt will not take them in? It's right there, Gaza. Just let them, give them some space in the Sinai. Develop some property for them. They don't want to do it. It's Trump doing it. All right, let me take a break. And Stuart Thompson from the New York Times is back. This guy really loves his show. He's a big fan, guys. Did you know that? he's a P1. Stuart Thompson, welcome, Stu. Good to see you, buddy. Guy writes stuff about our show all the time. This actually isn't that bad, but I'll show you something next. I got that. And then a big Dan Bongino show prediction came true. I told you it was only a matter of time. Time for you to be awake, not woke. Start your day with a hot America First cup of Blackout coffee. Blackout Coffee is an active supporter of hardworking Americans that see their work as their duty. They honor and take care of their customers more than any other coffee company out there. Blackout Coffee uses only premium grade coffee beans. Premium grade coffee beans taste amazing. A lot of these woke mega corporations, they don't use premium grade beans. They use lower grade beans. That's why I'm proud to personally recommend Blackout Coffee. Skip those long lines at the store and order online. Folks at Blackout Coffee ship within 48 hours of roasting. It's incredible. Do me a favor. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. See what I'm talking about. They are the real deal. Time to quit drinking woke corporate junk coffee every morning. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. You're going to love it. And our last sponsor today before we get back to the show, and Stuart Thompson, who loves the show, Cozy Earth. Right now, there's not much more I love than relaxing on Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set. Not like good sheets, man. They are by far the softest, most luxurious sheets I've slept on. I got one on the bottom and one on top. Paula put it on there. I was like, this is good stuff. After a busy day when I'm tired, I really look forward to unwinding on Cozy Earth sheets. And you can rely on Cozy Earth's use because they use only the highest quality, softest materials. This Valentine's Day, make your home an escape from the outside world's demands and surprise your Valentine by relaxing and recharging with Cozy Earth's luxury sheets. Cozy Earth elevates love's little moments. Cozy Earth prides itself on the responsible production of all its products, plus their bedding products have a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. I've been sleeping on them. You can't go wrong. So surprise your Valentine with Cozy Earth. They deserve this. Elevate your love with Cozy Earth. Head to CozyEarth.com/Bongino now to get up to 40% off and use my exclusive code Bongino. It's a big savings. That's CozyEarth.com/Bongino. And don't forget, if you're asked in a post-purchase survey, let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here on the Dan Bongino Show. Thank you, Cozy Earth. Great sheets. Appreciate it. All right, back to the show. So it happened again. Stuart Thompson from the New York Times, who loves this show. So everyone, please, in the chat, Anita, if you could lead the way, everyone give a shout out. Welcome, Stuart Thompson. Stewie, welcome to the show. Good to see you. Stuart A. Thompson at the New York Times, who notes, actually, this is maybe the first accurate thing he said in a long time. Pro-Trump media sees nothing but winning. The judges ruled. Judge Bongino says, let the winning continue. Stu notes, but through it all, the mood amongst those in right-wing media has been nothing short of ebullient. Man, we almost shut down the chat. There you go, Stu. Everybody's welcome to the show. Welcome, Stu Dog. Who said Stu Dog? Stu Dog. I like it, Stu Dog. So, oh, man, this is good. Stu, Big T78. Hey, Stu. Mike Platt. Welcome, Stu. Hey, Stuart. Anita, of course, welcoming Stuart. Good to see you all. Welcome, Stewie. Look at that. That chat. We melted that thing down. Tell me this isn't the biggest MAGA crew out there. He notes that we have been seeing nothing short of winning, and we are ebullient. I don't have time for all the winning, Bongino said, a longtime Trump supporter and popular right-wing podcaster. He said on his show, it's a good problem to have. Stewart's right. This is finally some quality reporting from the New York Times. I am not done with the winning. Keep the winning coming. And to people like Stewart and everyone else, the winning is not going to stop. I have been assured by people who are very close to this Trump orbit that this is the pace they are going to keep for 4 years. And I'm just, like I did yesterday with the Gaza story, encouraging you all on our side. Forget the lefties. They're going to overreact to everything, and I want to give them advice. Just chill. Let Donald Trump stories and statements, let them stew, no pun intended, for 24 hours, and you will see what Donald Trump meant. He speaks sometimes in a very opaque manner because it's part of his negotiating position. Again, I'm not telling you everything is 4D chess. Sometimes he speaks extemporaneously and says something and takes it back. You move quick, you break stuff once in a while. It happens. The Gaza thing, I promise you, was not one of them. It was not. Okay. Here was a prediction I made. I'm not going to tell you this was some big, bold, insane prediction, but I told you it was going to happen because the left is crazy. Folks, the midterms, Dan, I don't want to hear about the midterm. No, I do. Okay. I'm always thinking the next election cycle. I'm sorry, but the reason the show's successful is because we see around corners. The next election cycle is already coming up. Okay. It's only a matter of time before people start declaring for the midterm elections. Every congressional seat, a third of the Senate. We've got a tough run in the Senate. If we lose in the midterms, lose the House and the Senate, God forbid, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. It will be 2 years of fake investigations and collusion hoaxes into Donald Trump. So I'm already thinking midterms. Why is this important? Because another thing that's going to happen is if we lose the House in the midterms, which are just a year and a month or so, a year and 11 months away, which in my life is right around the corner, okay? If we lose, Donald Trump will be impeached again. For what? It doesn't matter. They'll make it up. They will use the dastardly deeds clause. That'll make sense in a second. Here's me a while ago making a prediction that has sadly already come true. Check this out. I'm about plans and plus ones and minus ones. I do not get involved in emotional stuff. I don't. I'm a passionate guy. I don't like the left, but I promise you I win. I asked you a favor, did I not? Tell me I didn't. Even for my haters out there. I said, please vote down ballot. A lot of these guys are going to be turkeys who are Republican congressmen and senators, but we need them because of a very simple tactical reason. Some of you didn't like that. Dan, I'm not voting for anyone with Trump. I said, that's a huge mistake because what's going to happen then is Trump is either going to get impeached or we're not going to get any of our nominees judicial or cabinet approved. I'm asking you to see the forest for the trees, and a lot of you get it. So I don't want to sound in any way condescending or not trying to sound like a tool. I'm not asking you to vote for Republican congressmen or senators you don't like. You aren't? No. I'm asking you to vote for Donald Trump because if you're not going to have Donald Trump if you don't vote for those people you don't like. I'm not asking you to vote for them. Most of them I don't like. They don't like me. Some of them don't even like us. However, if we lose committee spots and we lose the House and you vote for the other guys, the Democrats, or you don't vote at all, which is a huge mistake, Donald Trump will be impeached. He will. It's already started, folks. Here is Al Green at it again on impeachment. Al Green cites for impeachment high crimes and misdemeanors? No. I guess the dastardly deeds clause of the Constitution. Where's that in the Constitution? I know. He just made it up. Check this out.
I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done.
There we go. You're always 6 months to a year ahead of the news cycle, sometimes more. I told you it was going to happen. Folks, these people are crazy. They are lunatics. The Democrats are in total disarray. Who the hell knows what the hell the dastardly deeds clause is? He just made it up. This guy's a moron. You're going to see more of this. And listen to me now. I don't want to hear about the midterms. I don't care. I don't mean to sound like a dick. I don't care what you want to hear about. We got to win. You like the winning? You want to keep the winning going? If we lose in the midterms, I guarantee you this guy will be impeached again. And God forbid we lose 60 plus seats in the Senate or we need more. They would need more. You will see this guy impeached and removed because there's always going to be a few sucker Republicans that fall for this too. However, let's get back to the good stuff. Folks, the FOing is is piling up. Even Stuart Thompson sees it coming. I'm telling you, I'm having a hard time with all the winning. We're putting together shows at such a rapid pace. I gave the guys a challenge. Like, hey, you want to put together a show? As I tell them 5 minutes later, I already sent them half the show. Did I not? They're like, oh, we'll go find some. I've already given them just about everything because there's so much FOing happening. What's FOing? Well, this is the FAFO presidency. They effed around and now they're FOing. They're finding out. The finding out's happening over and over and over. So we're going to cover an FO segment just about every day or every other day. Here's a couple quick hits to put you in a good mood today. New CBS News has learned Attorney General, thankfully, Pam Bondi, will sign memos directing the DOJ to start a weaponization working group that will review the Twinkies case in New York, Tish James, Tyrant Jack Smith. Bondi will also end the moratorium on federal executions. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, the FOing, the finding out is happening left and right. Here is Emil Bove, who was running the DOJ until Pam Bondi got in. He's still over there. Great guy, telling the FBI guys, hey, listen, man, you guys can freak out all you want, but he notes nobody's going to be fired for simply following orders and carrying out their duties in an ethical manner. But if you had, notice that in the third paragraph down, partisan intent, there is a good chance you will be fired. Yes, if you swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States as an FBI agent and engaged in a tyrannical investigation against Donald Trump with partisan intent and not the Constitution in mind, you do not deserve your job. I'm sorry, you broke your oath. What part of this is difficult? Did you think they were kidding? Seriously, do you think the Trump administration's kidding? Folks, I'm not going to accept any lectures on this either from fraudsters. In my last line of work, I protected Republicans and Democrats, and I did my job to the best of my abilities every time, and I tell you that with the absolute purest of hearts. I didn't say, oh, Barack Obama's a Democrat, let me do a shitty protection job. I'm sorry if you were an FBI agent and acted differently because you didn't like the politics of the person being prosecuted, you deserve to be fired. You violated your oath of office. Or you swore in as an 1811. Here's Aaron Mate, who I don't agree with on everything, especially in the Middle East, but he's been great on Spygate. And again, I'm not emotional about things at all. He notes it still hasn't sunk in. The FBI took part in framing not just any random person as a Russian agent, but the president. And in the process, they endorsed the Clinton campaign's condescending elitist message that voters who didn't vote for them were Russian assets. None of these Russiagate fraudsters, he notes, have owned up to this historic deceit. And Andrew McCabe, this absolute buffoon who was the deputy director and acting director of the FBI, who helped launch the probe, is still doing talking work on CNN. Here, watch this video. Andrew McCabe, who was one of the ringleaders of a fake investigation in the FBI they knew was fake, is still on CNN as a respected talking head about the FBI. This shows you the level of deceit and how no one is being held accountable by the left wing, but they are FOing by the Trump administration. Check this out.
FBI rank and file agents and analysts who make up the vast majority of the field offices who do the work of investigating these cases, of executing search warrants, of executing arrest warrants, doing surveillance, electronic surveillance, whatever it might be. Those people are never touched by the political winds that blow through every 4 years, nor should they be. They, as you said, they don't pick their work. They're assigned to the work that they do. The work they do is lawful. It's within FBI policies, and not doing the work is not really an option for them, right? They come to the FBI, most of them come intending to stay for the entirety of their careers, 20 years or more, 20 years on the agent side, a little bit more for the support side. And so to be targeted in this way for termination potentially or retribution simply for doing their jobs on a major national security case is incomprehensible to them or anybody that knows the organization.
Folks, I mean, how is this guy still on TV? Is this guy still on TV? Do you understand if you look up his name, Andrew McCabe, FBI, that he is one of the central figures in this fake collusion case they made up that almost got the United States into a conflict with Russia over a fake story that Trump colluded with Russia to steal an election? You realize this guy was one of the ringleaders? And he's complaining that other people who may have been involved with him are career FBI. Listen, if you did your job honorably, thank you for your service. Terrific. If you didn't, I'm sorry. But Kash Patel and Pambandi, Emil Bove and others are going to ask you to leave because it's time for you to go. You screwed around. All right, now you're going to find out. Here's a couple more FOs. Trump to sign executive order banning men from women's sports and branding visas with the wrong sex as fraud. You know what? Can we skip ahead? I want to show you. Can we go to the video of him with all the kids around? Folks, and then that CNN poll. You guys know what I'm talking about? I'm skipping ahead a little bit. I want to show you something. Because again, another Dan Bongino operating evergreen theory I've told you over is the cannibalism theory. If you don't understand the Dan Bongino cannibalism theory, it's very simple. When the left loses an issue, like this men and women sports issue, which they got their asses kicked on, What winds up happening is the small group of crazies, about 20% who are pushing this stuff, men should compete in women's sports, which is insane, right? You understand they make money off this? They make money off social media promotion. They get money from left-wing groups to promote this crap, as you saw with USAID. Follow the money. Follow me here. People make money off crazy left-wing issues like men and women's sports. You got me? Does that make sense? So the cannibalism theory is this. They don't want to give up the gravy train, even when the issue buries the Democrat Party. This issue was probably 10 to 20%, if not more. I don't know, just throwing a number out there, of Donald Trump's victory in this presidential election. People were so annoyed at this, right? It was such an easy win for Republicans that same people like, why are Democrats still fighting for this craziness? Because people make money off it. So the cannibalism theory is once they lose the issue overall, they start going after what they see traitors in their own midst and lefties. J.K. Rowling, a perfect example. She's not a big conservative, but the author of the Harry Potter books, she's like public enemy number one to them. Martina Navratilova, the tennis player. They will start eating themselves alive because they can't give up the grift and they can't have people on the inside turning. Does that make sense? So you see this article in the New York Post about this. This was a huge deal. This is the easiest political win of all time. Here's Donald Trump yesterday, one of the best snapshots and sound bites you're ever going to see, signing this executive order, finally banning this craziness. And watch what he does. Remember, snapshots and sound bites, folks, that's politics. This issue is a loser for the left, but because they're making money off it, they're going to start eating their own alive. They're not going to let this go. And you can just sit back and chew on the popcorn. Watch this.
You know, if you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them. If we have to worry about them, we have big problems.
Folks, snapshots and sound bites, man, there is simply no one better at this than this guy. There isn't. You can deny his political skills all you want. He's just going to keep kicking your ass. The cannibalism theory. Digest it, apply it, read it, love it, own it. The left, unlike the right, when the right, I'm not saying we do this all the time, but when the right senses an issue is a complete, total political loser. Maybe it's a bad issue. We're not, sometimes something comes up. Maybe the politics of it weren't right for the moment. You'll see them walk away from it a little bit, right? This is not the case with the left. They will go all in because there's money there. They don't care. And they just sit back, eat your popcorn as they start eating themselves alive because there's no one on the right that supports this. Watch them start tearing each other to pieces. Here's a CNN segment. This is how bad of an issue for these lunatics who are dying on the craziest hill ever, men and women's sports. This is how bad of an issue this is for them. 80% of people, 79 to be exact, are against this, and these morons who are making money are about to sink their party over it. Here's a CNN segment. Imagine getting 80% of people to agree on anything. Check this out.
I think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports.
You ever seen a better example of my cannibalism theory? Just stand back, stand your ground on the issue, knowing you're right. Men and women's sports is crazy, and just watch. They'll eventually give up on you because they know they're never going to convince you to believe the crazy, and they will always eat their own alive. Always. Always. Because there's money in it. They can't give it up. They don't actually believe this. They don't. No, they don't. They're making money off it. They're getting money from USAID groups for transgender opera shows in Peru or whatever. There's freaking money in it, dude. You think these people are ideological zealots? Yeah, some of them are, but most of them are just greedy little shits. Don't even give him that much credit. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is probably a believer. 90% of people who follow him aren't at all. They're sitting there with their iPhones and their money and their lattes. You know what? Can we move ahead to the Rumbler segment? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Folks, the fixer is back. Here's another thing I haven't discussed in a long time. Man, I'm hesitant to bring this up again. And the only reason I am is because this thing sets the world on fire. And every time I do, it seems like a bit of self-promotion because I've been covering this forever. There is a figure in politics who has somehow managed to escape a serious scrutiny like the John Brennans and Jim Comey have. And I cannot figure out why, because she was at the heart of so many major Biden era, Obama era scandals. It is stunning that this woman is not the subject of further scrutiny by books and conservative groups out there. We've been all over. We've done 10, 20 shows on it. Who is it? It's Catherine Rumbler. You know who Catherine Rumbler is? She was Obama's White House counsel. The Dan Bongino show calls her the fixer. Why am I bringing up Catherine Rumbler again? Throw the New York Post article up first. I see you have the Post there on the screen, but the New York, the one about the Epstein thing. It says, so this broke the other day. The Jeffrey Epstein case is back, folks. New Jeffrey Epstein docs reveal pedophile met with CIA chief and former White House counsel after the child sex crime conviction. Now, this article is not new. However, there are now some rumors out there that the new Department of Justice is going to start releasing some more information about the Jeffrey Epstein case. Wait, put that Post headline up again. What the hell was Jeffrey Epstein doing meeting with Barack Obama's fixer, his White House counsel? Hold on. Let me just give you a little litany and rundown of everything Obama's fixer was involved in fixing and what the hell was she trying to fix with the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Are there some high-level Democrats like the Clintons who may have needed some stuff to go away with this? Here's some more Catherine Rumbler stuff. Washington Post. Catherine, throw up the Washington Post headline for me. Washington Post. White House counsel Kathy Rumbler, from outsider to protector of the presidency. Politico. The IRS scandal. Who was at the center of that? Oh, look, the latest revelation. Catherine Rumbler was given early information about this thing and shared it with White House officials. It raises another question in Owen. Should Obama have been alerted sooner? You mean Kathy Rumbler knew before Obama? The Observer. Sex, lies, and the White House counsel? Catherine Rumbler blunders into the Secret Service scandal mess. Here's one more for you. Remember Benghazi? President's former lawyer speaks out. On Meet the Press, Catherine Rumbler talks Obama's executive action and the court appearance of a suspected Benghazi mastermind. Folks, Rumbler was at the center of all of the Obama-Biden stuff. Not all of it, but a good amount of it. She was the fixer. She was like that Olivia Pope character in that Scandal show that was out there forever. She was the mess cleaner. What the hell is she cleaning up with the Epstein scandal now? And now with the DOJ flipping over. Folks, if we don't uncover the full Epstein story, there is a huge hole in the follow the money, follow the influence picture. I'm telling you, and I'm going to tell you again, this is probably the 10th time I've told this story. An unimpeachable source was on a plane with Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein. According to this whistleblower friend of mine, Clinton walks in the back with a young lady. He doesn't know the age. He doesn't know what happened. He'd not walk back there with her. He doesn't say anymore. He was totally uncomfortable what happened, asked to be let off that detail that day. And he noted later on that some of the other people who were involved in that flight, all of a sudden their BlackBerries at the time disappeared and showed up on a basically kind of like a stolen missing property list in the Secret Service. You do with that what you want. I'm just telling you, there's a source out there and he knows who he is. If you ever want to speak up, my audience is waiting. But this Jeffrey Epstein story, folks, we haven't even scratched the surface of. What the hell was the Obama fixer meeting with this guy for? Story just keeps getting worse. All right, folks, that was a lot of material to cover today. The beginning's really important. I'm asking you as a friend, please pick up the book. It's Follow the Money, wherever you can get it. I don't really care. Borrow it. But read the whole book if you can. But the chapter on the mole, the chapter on Ukraine, you need to know that this USAID scandal involves a whole lot of players, and it explains everything. What Zelensky knew early, why Ukraine was a piggy bank, what Ukraine's protecting. You realize Zelensky and people in Ukraine now, they were the start of the whole Russia, not Zelensky himself, but people in Ukraine started the entire Russia hoax. You realize that came out of Ukraine? It's all there. You'll understand this story with the Schellenberger piece if you read the book. Pick it up, Follow the Money, buy it, give it to your friend, and you'll be blown away. And I got a guest coming on later to talk about the Soros angle about this. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please give us a follow on Rumble. Download the free Rumble app. Also go to rumble.com/Bongino. You see it right there. Click that subscribe button. And we do thank you if you do. We are just a few thousand people away from 3.5 million subscribers. It is absolutely free, no catch. And then go to Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow the Dan Bongino Show there. It's free as well. We really appreciate it. See you on the radio show here in Rumble in a few minutes. And back here tomorrow, live at 11 a.m. See you then.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.